365-day Bible read and Bible study. We will be finished with the entire Bible by day 365. And today we are going to read Genesis 12, 13, and 14. And then we're going to read um, Matthew 5, verse 1 through 26. And we're going to do the Bible study after we read the chapters of Genesis, but we are not going to do the Bible study for Matthew today. We're going to do the Bible study for Matthew tomorrow once we finish the other half of chapter 5. Um, how the schedule is set up to finish day 365, how it's set up, it breaks it down just so that you can read some of the Old Testament, because there's more books in the Old Testament than there is in the New Testament. So we have it so that you can read the Old Testament and the New Testament, but finish on the same day. So it breaks it down so that it levels out. It's broken down. I didn't make this schedule up. It's on the ESV.org, I believe is the name of the website for English Standard Version.org, because we're reading from the English Standard Version Bible. And yes, then afterwards we'll do the Bible study. And I did not write the Bible study out for chapter 5 of Matthew. I was thinking, should I do half of the Bible study for the half that we're reading of chapter 5 of Matthew, and just do a Bible study for that half, and then read the other half of Matthew and then do the Bible study for that half tomorrow. But I'm like, no, just finish the whole chapter and just do the Bible study afterwards in the end. So I'm going to dive right in. I'm starting from the Old Testament, Genesis chapter 12. The call of Abram. Now the Lord said to Abram, "Go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you, and I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, so that you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and him who dishonors you I will curse. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed." So Abram went as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. And Abram took Sarai with and Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their possessions that they had gathered, and the people that they had acquired in Haran, and they set out to go to the land of Canaan. When they came to the land of Canaan, Abram passed through the land to the place at Shechem, to the oak of Moreh. At that time, the Canaanites were in the land. Then the Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your offspring I will give this land." So he built there an altar to the Lord, who had appeared to him. From there he moved to the hill country on the east of Bethel and pitched his tent, with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. And there he built an altar to the Lord and called upon the name of the Lord. And Abram journeyed on, still going toward the Negeb. Abram and Sarai in Egypt. Now there was a famine in the land. So Abram went down to Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was severe in the land. When he was about to enter Egypt, he said to Sarai, his wife, I know that you are a woman beautiful in appearance, and when the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife. Then they will kill me, but they will let you live. Say you are my sister, that it may go well with me because of you, and that my life may be spared for your sake. When Abram entered Egypt, the Egyptians saw that the woman was very beautiful. And when the princes of Pharaoh saw her, they praised her to Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. And for her sake, he dealt well with Abram. And he had sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male servants, female donkeys, and camels. But the Lord afflicted Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. So Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is this you have done to me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister, so that I took her for my wife? Now then, here is your wife. Take her and go. And Pharaoh gave men orders concerning him, and they sent him away with his wife and all that he had. Chapter 13. Abram and Lot separate. So Abram went up from Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the Negeb. Now Abram was very rich in livestock, in silver, and in gold. And he journeyed on from the Negeb as far as Bethel, to the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai, to the place where he had made an altar at the first. And there Abram called upon the name of the Lord. And Lot, who went with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents, so that the land could not support both of them dwelling together. For their possessions were so great that they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abram's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. At the time, the Canaanites and the Perizzites were dwelling in the land. Then Abram said to Lot, let there be no strife between you and me, and between your herdsmen and my herdsmen, for we are kinsmen. Is not the whole land before you? Separate yourself from me. If you take the left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if you take the right hand, then I will go to the left. And Lot lifted up his eyes and saw that the Jordan Valley was well watered everywhere, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt in the direction of Zoar. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose for himself all the Jordan Valley, and Lot journeyed east. Thus they separated from each other. Abram settled in the land of Canaan, while Lot settled among the cities of the valley and moved his tent as far as Sodom. So now the men of Sodom were wicked, great sinners against the Lord. The Lord said to Abram, after Lot had separated from him, lift up your eyes and look from the place where you are, northward and southward, and eastward and westward. For all the land that you see I will give to you and to your offspring forever. I will make your offspring as the dust of the earth, so that if one can count the dust of the earth, your offspring also can be counted. Arise, walk through the length and the breadth of the land, for I will give it to you. So Abram moved his tent and came and settled by the oaks of Mamre, which are at Hebron, and there he built an altar to the Lord. Chapter 14. Abram rescues Lot. In the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of Goim. These kings made war with Bera, king of Sodom, Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, Shemeber, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zor. And all these joined forces in the valley of Siddim, that is the Salt Sea. 12 years they had served Chedorlaomer. But in the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year, Chedorlaomer and the kings who were with him came and defeated the Rephaim and Ashtaroth Karnaim, the Zuzim and Ham, the Emim and Shaveh Kiriathaim, and the Horites and their hill country of Seir, as far as El Paran, on the border of the wilderness. Then they turned back and came to En-Mishpat, that is Kadesh, and defeated all the country of Amalekites, and also the Amorites, who were dwelling in Hazazon Tamar. Then the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zor, went out and they joined battle in the valley of Siddim with Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, Tidal, king of Goim, Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar. 4 kings against 5. Now the valley of Siddim was full of bitumen pits. And as the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some fell into them, and the rest fled to the hill country. So the enemy took all the possessions of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their provisions, and went their way. They also took Lot, the son of Abram's brother, who was dwelling in Sodom, and his possessions, and went their way. Then one who had escaped came and told Abram the Hebrew, who was living by the oaks of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and the Aner. These were allies of Abram. When Abram heard that his kinsmen had been taken captive, he led forth his trained men born in his house, 318 of them, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. And he divided his forces against them by night, he and his servants, and defeated them, and pursued them to Hobah, north of Damascus. Then he brought back all the possessions, and also brought back his kinsman, Lot with his possessions, and the women and the people. Abram blessed by Melchizedek. After his return from the defeat of Chedorlaomer and the kings who were with him, the king of Sodom went out to meet him at the valley of Shaveh, that is the king's valley. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram by God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand. And Abram gave him 1/10 of everything. And the king of Sodom said to Abram, Give me the persons, but take the goods for yourself. But Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted my hand to the Lord God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth, that I would not take a thread or a sandal strap or anything that is yours, lest you should say, I have made Abram rich. I will take nothing but what the young men have eaten, and the share of the men who went with me. Let Anar, Eshcol, and Mamre take their share. All right. So that was Genesis chapter 12, 13, and 14. And we are now going to do the Bible study for those chapters. Genesis chapter 12. What did God tell Abram to do? Abram was told to leave his father's house and go to a land he would show him. What did he promise Abram? God would make his name great and make a great nation from him. What land did God promise to give Abram? Abram was promised the land of Canaan. Why did the Lord plague Pharaoh's house? Because Pharaoh took Abram's wife to his house. That was Genesis chapter 12 study. Now we are going to do chapter 13 study for Genesis. What problem occurred in the land because of Abram and Lot's livestock? There was not enough room in the land for the both of them. What was the solution to this problem? They decided to separate to different parts of the region. Where did Abram go? Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan. Where did Lot go? Lot dwelt in the plain of Jordan and near the city of Sodom. So that was the Bible study for chapter 13 of Genesis, and now we are going to do the study for chapter 14 of Genesis. What happened to the people of the city where Lot lived? Lot was taken captive by the king of Elam and 3 other kings. What did Abram do about this? Abram pursued and attacked their captors and brought them back. What did Abram do with some of the spoil taken in battle? He gave a tithe to God. He gave a tithe to God with it. Before whom did he do this? Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of God Most High. Question 3. What did the king of Sodom offer Abram? Abram could keep the goods and give to the people. What was Abram's answer? Abram declined the king of Sodom's offer, and he declined because he would say that he made Abram rich. So that is the study for Genesis chapter 14. And now we are going to read Matthew chapter 5, verse 1 through 26. And then tomorrow we will read Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 through 48. And then once we finish verse 27 through 48 of Matthew, tomorrow we will do the Bible study for chapter 5, verse 1 through 26, and for verse 27 through 48. We'll do the Bible study tomorrow for both. All right. Matthew chapter 5, the Sermon on the Mount. Seeing the crowds, he went up on the mountain, and when he sat down, his disciples came to him. The Beatitudes. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Salt and light. You are the salt of the earth. But if salt has lost its taste, how shall its salted... let me read that over. You are the salt of the earth. But if salt has lost its taste, how shall its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. Christ came to fulfill the law. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not an iota, not a dot, will pass from the law until all is accomplished. Therefore, whoever relaxes one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Anger. You have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be liable to judgment. But I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. Whoever insults his brother will be liable to the council. And whoever says, you fool, will be liable to the hell of fire. So if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go. First be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Come to terms quickly with your accuser while you are going with him to court, lest your accuser hand you over to the judge, and the judge to the guard, and you be put in prison. Truly I say to you, You will never get out until you have paid the last penny. So that was chapter 5 of Matthew, verse 1 through 26. And tomorrow we will do Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 through 48. And that'll be the rest of Matthew chapter 5. And then afterwards, we will do the Bible study for what we read today of Matthew and for what we read tomorrow of Matthew chapter 5. So it's just set up. The schedule that's set up, remember, if you wanted to look ahead at the schedule, it's on ESV.org, I believe. If that's not all the way correct, if I'm leaving out a word or something, I'll look that up, and then I'll let you guys know tomorrow for sure. But I believe it's ESV.org. It stands for English Standard Version, and it's just it's a Bible read in there, and it's a schedule for the entire year so that you can get through reading the Bible in 1 year. So it's already set. I'm not setting this schedule, so I'm just following it. So okay, yeah. So thank you for being on this journey with me, and I'm excited for us. And we've gotten through day 5, and we have 360 more days to go, and our first week is almost over. So, all right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Yes, I love you. God loves you. You matter. You're beautiful. You're amazing. You're worthy. You are loved, and you are worthy, and you are enough. So don't let anyone tell you any different. And don't believe any of those negative thoughts that you think of yourself, or anything negative that anyone else says about you. So love you lots, and I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah.